Hey, my reactors. So today I'll be reading chapter 62 through 66. We almost finished. By Thursday we'll be finished. Okay. Further, I'm confessing my sins because I want you to give God my message. Fur was preparing water for a bath when there was a knock at the front door. When she came home, and her apartment was empty. She was excited about having a night to herself. Hoping Slade was stopping by to make up. She looked over herself, stood on her toes, and looked out the peephole. It was the man she met in the elevator. So she thought about her next move and slowly opened the door. Fur, Knox said, standing before her. Don't think I'm crazy. My cousin just told me your name. Her throat felt like it was about to close, so she swallowed and said, What do you want with me? You don't remember me, do you? Her jaws flexed. Should I? Maybe you should, or maybe you shouldn't, he grinned. And Fur didn't seem amused. Let me stop fucking with you. I'm Slade's brother. A short, uneasy feeling pierced her stomach. Really? Her face appeared to brighten with understanding. The brother he's been looking for. Knox nodded. I heard so much about you, it's like I already know you. He raised his arm. You got me. I'm the one and only Knox Baker. He looked her over. Can I come in? I'm not sure if it's a good idea. If he came in, she didn't know what would happen. She couldn't judge her actions as they changed from moment to moment. Oh, come on. We almost family now. She stepped back and said, Enter at your own risk. Knox stepped inside and observed her apartment. Liar's crib. He looked into her eyes. You live here alone? No, I have a roommate I can't stand. My sisters and brothers live with me too. She closed and locked the door. They aren't here now though, so we're alone. So you don't have to worry about your privacy. Why would I worry? Because your brother made it sound like you're hiding. Anyway, I was running my bath. Give me a second to turn the water off, okay? He nodded and she walked into her room before coming back a few minutes later. When she got back, she asked, Can I get you something to drink, beer, water? No. He walked into her space and she felt violated. So how can I help you? She stepped back. I know Slade is happy to have you home, your mother too. He told you why I couldn't connect with them. No, she shook her head. Slade doesn't say much of anything. He grinned. My brothers don't know I'm back yet. He moved in closer, almost as if he had a strong desire to be sexual with her. In fact, you're the first person I came to see. And if I knew you were here, I would have been here sooner. You don't seem too happy to see me now. She stepped away from him again. You really don't remember me, do you? How many people had you killed? Where you can't even remember my face? Fur was motionless. You're not Slade's brother, are you? Sure I am. But I'm also the person you hit and left to die under your bins. Had it not been for Eleanor, I wouldn't be alive today. Then again, you don't give a fuck, do you? You had the wrong person. I'm going to tell my brother who you are, he bragged. I'm going to make sure that he never bothers himself with you again. Losing Slade forever made her feel doomed. When he noticed her dismissal expression, he said, You love him, don't you? He laughed and pointed in her face. Too bad, because I want you to know how it feels to be alone and broken. Only to have someone step up to you and place their dirty hand over your mouth and nose so you couldn't breathe. You are a killer and a manipulator. One at that. And you're going to stay the fuck away from my brother and the rest of my family. Fur husky laugh caught him off guard. She went from exhibiting fear to humor in a second flat. Glad you're not playing games anymore. He walked up to her, grabbed her drawer, and applied strain pressure. Her mouth flew open. He said, If I catch you around Slade, I will kill you if you think I'm a joke. The blade entering in his stomach and piercing his liver halted the rest of his words. When he released her face, she turned the knife clockwise. followed by a quick counter-clockwise motion. He tried to squeeze her neck, but she pushed it in deeper before he dropped to the floor. Not wanting blood on her favorite robe, she tossed it to the clean part of the kitchen floor and crawled on top of him in her white panties and bra set. With her hands on the handle, she took her fist and hit the top of the knife again. His feet flew up in the air before slamming back to the floor. She bent down, looked into his eyes, and in a soft voice she said, "I knew who you were the moment you stepped into the elevator, but I figured you didn't know me. But I was severely wrong, wasn't I? I thought you were dead." She pushed the knife in deeper. "You should have never come here, Knox. You should have gone on with your life." She removed the blade, licked the blood, and smiled. Your blood is sweet. You must be a diabetic." She placed the knife on the floor and said, "You know, I've killed over 15 people since I've been here. I killed the man who tried to rape me. I killed the kid across the hallway from Marky. But this was the first time I ever tried to hold myself back. I warned you about coming in here. Even said enter at your own risk. Yet you came inside anyway. Please, I need help." "I know you do not," she grinned. "But right now, I'm confessing my sins because I want you to give God my message. My heart was in the right place at one point in my life." She ran her hands along the side of his face. "My mother made me this way, and that's why she's sitting in the front of a TV right now alone, with her throat slit. She was asleep when I walked in and was wearing this black Muslim shit. She even had a veil over her face. After I stabbed her, I took it off so everybody would see how ugly she really is. She was tearing it up and quickly wiped them away. She was tearing up and quickly wiped them away. When I took off the veil, her face was so destroyed I didn't even recognize her. This disease, this awful fucking disease ate up her skin. And it was then that I knew even more that I'm not going to look like that. Nobody goes to see her, so I'm sure she'll be there for days. She is hell, and her face produced a deranged smile. I gotta tell you though, that I've never been better. I feel so much more alive now that I told you all of this. Thank you so much." When he tried to speak, she placed her ear next to his mouth to catch his words. "Please get me some help." Red blood started to cover his pink tongue. She placed her lips against his and sucked some of the blood from his mouth. So fucking good. Knox couldn't believe this was happening, but he couldn't waste his last breath on asking why. "If you say you love my brother, you have to let me help him. I have evidence to keep them out of jail." He tried to reach into his pocket, but he didn't have the energy. "I promise not to say anything." Fur Rose dug into her pocket. Man, oh my God. Fur Rose dug into his pocket and pulled out a black phone in a silver case. "So this will save your brother a cell phone?" She laughed. "Well, unless Slade does me right, he won't be needing this anyway." When someone knocked at the door, she stuffed a dirty dish rag in his mouth and reached under the sink to grab a roll of duct tape. She placed a long strip over his mouth from ear to ear to silence him. When someone began to bang harder, she washed her hands, grabbed a roll, and walked to the door. When she saw a woman she didn't recognize, she looked behind her to be sure Knox didn't crawl into view. Finally, she reluctantly opened the door. An older black lady was standing there with a smirk on her face. "Who are you?" "Is Lisa Carmine here?" "Not right now, but can I help you with something?" "Yes. Tell her I know that she killed my son the day he went missing. He sent a text message with her name. Today, with a little help, I was able to get this address. Well, what's your message?" She looked into her eyes. "Please tell her that I intend on burning her alive." Chapter 63, Chloe. Plenty of niggas wanted to be with me, and I waste my time on you. Chloe was sitting in front of her broken down car trying to stay warm. She was waiting for Audio to pull up from the club, knowing he'd be home any minute. When one of her friends told her he was with another girl, she made it her business to find out for herself. Audio was her world, and she didn't want anything or anybody coming in the way of that. When Slade pulled up, she jumped out of the car and approached the truck. Her hands were folded over her chest and her eyes were bloody red. Where the fuck were you, Where the fuck were you, Audio? Slade and his brother looked at her after they closed the doors. Fuck you mean, where were I? Audio shot back, embarrassed how she was carrying it in front of his family. You must have lost your mind if you think you could talk to me like that. His brothers nodded in approval for checking the bitch. I heard you were with some girl. She placed her hand on her hip. Is that true? Y'all go upstairs, he told his brothers. I'm gonna be up in a minute. I gotta holler at Chloe. You sure? Slade asked, looking at them both. Because y'all don't need to be doing this out here. Chloe rolled her eyes. I'm sure. I got this, Audio replied. When they walked into the building, Chloe said, why you cheated on me, Audio? Warm tears ran down her face and she wiped them away before they froze onto her skin. I thought you said you loved me. What you talking about, babes? I do love you. All I did was hang out at the club with my brothers. That's it. You gotta stop tripping. I saw you with my own eyes, Audio. You weren't just in the club. You went with another bitch. I know that she is one of Shannon's friends. Her name is Wendy. That bitch old as shit. She 2 years older than me, so stop tripping. Realizing he said too much, he said, I was just dancing, babes. That bitch don't mean nothing to me. I don't even have to see her again. You know what? I gave up a lot in this relationship. Plenty of niggas wanted to be with me, and I waste my time on you. You don't even have no fucking money. It's over, she stormed towards the building. Although his ego was bruised, he grabbed her arm to prevent her from walking out of his life. Okay, I let this girl Wendy suck my dick in the bathroom. Is that what you want to hear? But you know I'm not fucking with that slut no more, babes. I got with her before I even met you. Her and her friends, her and her friend Nova fucked me at the same time. But I'm done. Bitches like that can't stand next to you. Then he took his fist and softly hit her chin. Did you have to call a nigga broke, though? She rocked in place, folded her arms over her chest, and said, I'm sorry. Chloe's temples began to throb, and she wondered how quickly he would die if she shot or stabbed him. Nobody fucked over at Cotton and lived too long to talk about it. You can't do that kind of shit to me. You forgive me, right? She looked into his eyes and said, if you love me, it won't be so easy. Okay, what I gotta do? When my daddy did my mother wrong, he committed murder. Audio eyes widened, and that's what I want you to do. He looked at her and she was fully expecting him to back out. Instead, he said, would you kill for me too? Chapter 64, Slade. What exactly did my brother say? And don't leave anything out. Slade woke up with a throbbing headache due to the TV being too loud. The couch he slept on every night at Marky's was starting to wreak havoc on his bones. Easing off the sofa, partially bent over, his hand in the small of his back, he walked a few feet before stretching the pain away. Then he stepped over his brothers who were asleep on the floor. Hungry as a stray dog, he walked into the kitchen to get something to eat. When who did he see? Fat-ass Marky scrambling eggs. How come whenever I'm in the kitchen, you are too? Slade asked. From the movie Friday. From the movie you will never... From the movie you need to pull the fuck back from the table. Walking to the cupboard, he grabbed a blue plastic cup and pulled some orange juice. Where were you last night, Marky? I thought you were going to be here in case my brother called. You've been dropping the ball lately, and I'm getting tired of your shit. Marky turned the stove off and turned around and said, what you talking about, man? Knox was here last night. The cup dropped out of his hand and slammed to the floor before rolling to Marky's feet. Slam rushed over to him, gripped his shirt, and raised them in the air. Since Marky was far from a petite man, the move only amplified Slade's strength. His socks were soaked with juice. His socks were soaked with juice. My brother was here, and you ain't tell me? He told me not to call you. He started shaking when he looked down and saw that his feet were nowhere near the floor. He said never to use the house phone to call the cell phone or some shit like that. I tried to call you, man, but he got mad and said he was coming back later. So I gave him a key and rolled out. Where were you last night, he asked, the veins in his arms popping through his skin like worms. I had to bounce because Randy wanted me to check on something since he was out of town. Another one of his friends got killed last night. Looking at the TV, he said that was him right there. Slade released him and he died to the floor. He slowly, not died. Slade released him and he plummeted to the floor. He slowly walked into the living room to get a clear look at the face. This was the nigga he was halfway from killing last night when he saw him with her. The news was reporting that 2 men were found dead in a black Range Rover by the names of Todd Mellon, also known as Juice, and Dwayne Harvey. A third man named Todd Ferguson was also found at the scene, pinned under the truck. He was confirmed dead this morning. He was relieved that Fur was okay because he knew she was with him, and they didn't mention her name. I'm sorry, Slade, he said, walking behind him, breaking his concentration on the news. I thought you knew he was here. What exactly did my brother say? And don't leave anything out. He coughed a few times and said he knocked on the door asking where y'all were. He said not to use the phone because he didn't know if anybody was watching him. Then he said that Eleanor saved him and to tell you to look for him there. Slade frowned. Who the fuck is Eleanor? This old white bitch up the street. She's a dopehead who can do this ass clapping trick better than the baddest strippers, he laughed, rubbing his hands together. When Slade didn't share in his humor, he cleared his throat and said, sorry, man. Did my brother say anything else? No, that was it, he paused. Maybe he's coming back later today. Slade was tired of looking at his cousin. He was about to walk away until he said, oh, I almost forgot. He also asked about your girl Fur. I don't know what's that about. Okay. Let's see something. Chapter 65, Fur. This is your fault, not mine, so you can put this on YouTube if you want to. Fur was a nervous wreck as she stirred the meatballs in the pot. She was up all night watching a movie about vampires and wondered if she was a real one come to life. She couldn't be like them in her mind. Unlike the fish in these movies, she had a need to survive or be killed. And although people wouldn't understand, she wouldn't share their problems anymore. Some people ate meat, she drank blood, so what's the difference? She had a lot on her plate today. For starters, she was throwing Rhonda's baby shower. She killed her lover's brother, and she was certain that Juice died because somebody was trying to get to her. To make matters worse, a Miko mother stopped by to threaten Lisa about a murder Chloe committed. Before it was all said and done, Fur had no doubt that things were going to end badly, and whenever she had that thought, she was right. I know you're not still thinking about this shit, Leah said, walking up behind her. They'll never find his brother, or anybody else we dumped for that matter. You may be new to getting rid of evidence, but we kill all the time, she continued. And if they were talking about dumping bags of trash, she continued, as if they were talking about dumping bags of trash. You sure? Fur asked, turning off the stove. I feel like I'm about to go down. Stop worrying. And as far as that bitch who came here yesterday, maybe it's a good thing they think Lisa was involved instead of Chloe. But if she keeps snooping around, That old hag can get the business too. Now help me move this table in the living room. That girl's showers is in 4 hours and we're not hardly ready. Wait a minute. Fur moved slowly and she was wearing an expression of desperation on her face. I killed his brother, Mia. If he finds out, he'll never talk to me again. He's not talking to you now. I'm serious. He's the first person I ever loved. Mia sighed. For the first time, she could tell Fur was serious. Listen, Fur, you got to act right today and not think about Slade or his brother. If the police investigate, they're going to question everybody you've been around before and after the murder. You want them to say that you were acting normal, not the other way around. Now let's move this table. Fur pulled herself together and helped Mia organize the apartment so that everything was beautiful for the celebration. The details were strongly cared for, and they knew Rhonda would appreciate everything. Blue and pink was the theme, and the living room was flooded with baby party favors and balloons. Because Fur was out of it, even Shadow pitched in to help out by going to the store and grabbing a few last-minute items on the list. When he came back with 5 big bags, he said, "Where do you want this stuff?" "Put it on the table." When he walked away, Mia said, "He's lonely, Fur. We gotta find him somebody." "How do you know he lonely?" she asked, helping Mia put streamers on the wall. "He seems okay to me." "Well, if you weren't self-consumed, you'll know he got shit on his mind too." Fur looked over at him. "You're not the only one with trouble." "Well, I'm dealing with shit too," she said selfishly. "I can't deal with Shadow now." Mia shook her head. "Still the same old selfish fervor. Take it out you want," she said. They were almost finished decorating when Fur remembered she didn't have the cake. "Hold up. Where is Chloe?" She looked at her watch. "She was supposed to bring the cake." "I'll call her cell, but she probably with that nigga Audio," Shadow replied from the kitchen. "If you want, I could go to the grocery store and get one." "Thanks, I appreciate that." She tossed him the keys to her half-broken car. "I don't know why she's fucking with him anyway. I saw him with some bitch at the club last night, and Slade too. And we also saw Chloe ride a nigga dick she knew for less than an hour while you drank this blood," Shadow said, putting on his brown leather jacket. "Bitches kill me pointing fingers and shit. Cheating is cheating, no matter who does it." "That bitch you talking about is your sister," Mia frowned. "Act like it." "I'm out." He left the apartment. When there was another knock at the door 10 minutes later, Mia said, "I get it. Blow some more balloons up, Fur, and put them in the kitchen. It looks kind of bored over there." Mia opened the door and saw a light-skinned woman standing before her. "The baby shower doesn't start for another 3 hours. You're a little too early." "I'm not here for a shower. I'm here to talk to Lisa Carmine. I had some questions for her regarding a missing person case." Mia swallowed and said, "Well, she ain't here. But what's your name? I give her your message." "I'm Detective Nadia Gibson." She flashed her bag. "And is Fur cotton home?" "No," Mia said with an attitude. "Yes, I am." Fur walked up behind her. Mia rolled her eyes at them both and swayed away. "What do you want with me, Nadia?" "That's Detective Gibson to you," she nodded. "Say Fur. Say Fur. You wouldn't have to have a room available for rent now, would you?" she joked. Fur grinned and put her hands on her hip. "I told you already, the room is taken." Nadia laughed, always the smart ass, and always the hating ass cop. She smiled back. "Now what do you want with me? I'm busy. I want you to know that I'm going to be the thorn in your ass, I promise. So get used to seeing my face, because in the upcoming weeks, we'll have a lot to talk about. It'll be just like we were roommates after all." Fur watched Rhonda pranced around her apartment as if she didn't have a care in the world. The murder she witnessed last night didn't seem to be on her mind in the least. Jealousy consumed her when people would rub her belly and congratulate her on the future. She wondered what she had to look forward to in her own life. She didn't even have a slave. Remembering what Mia said about acting normal, she decided to drink a martini to relax her mind. After a while, she left out the martini juice and rocked with the liquor. 5 drinks later, she was floating around the shower as if she were a star. Since this wasn't normal behavior to some, since this wasn't normal behavior to some, something was off. Oh my God. This TV, ooh. Something. Oh. Mia made sure the food tray stayed stocked while eating in the process, and Shadow ran errands for things the woman continued to forget. When someone knocked at the door, Mia opened it because Fur was playing a baby name game with Rhonda and her friends. When she opened the door, Coconut, Shannon, and the rest of the crew piled in, including Nova and Wendy. "Hey, Coconut," Mia said with a slight attitude. She blocked their path and said, "1 second." She looked for Fur and yelled, "Fur, can they come in?" Fur saw the troublemakers waiting to destroy her day and said, "Everybody can come in except Nova." "You still tripping off that shit? Bitch, you can't come into my house after you try to smack me in my face." Nova rolled her eyes and said, "I'll see y'all later. Fuck this cunt." The girls glided inside, but Coconut stopped when she saw Shadow. "Damn, I didn't know you were home from jail." She looked him over. "I didn't know you looked this good either." Shadow was just as taken with her as she was with him. Lifting weights and eating pussy does a body good. He licked his lips and her pussy jumped. "Is that right?" "No need to repeat myself," he winked. Coconut smiled at him again and followed Shane and her friends into the living room. Everybody there stopped playing the game and rushed towards the hood stars. Fur was immediately blown. She didn't have a chance to step to her about fucking with slavery at the club, and now the bitch was in her house. "Shannon, I know Rhonda said you could come, but why are you here really? Because you're not going to start no shit in my house." "Come on, Fur. I know this ain't about last night. We didn't even know you were alive. Trust me. Me and Slave wasn't hardly thinking about you." Coconut leered at the sound of their words. "Besides, I'm here to support Rhonda and her baby. Like you say all the time, keep it like." The crowd erupted in laughter. Coconut ignored her altogether, and that hurt Fur the most. The entire time they were at the party, Coconut seemed to have an attitude whenever she catch Fur in the corner looking her way. When she walked over to talk to her, she responded in one-word sentences and acted like she didn't exist. After a while, Coconut, Rhonda, Shannon, and the rest of the crew seemed to abandon the shower to hold conversations in private. Feeling like an outsider caused her to grow angrier by the minute. Before long, Coconut emerged from the crowd and approached Fur. At first, Fur was relieved, hoping they could finally move past the drama until she saw the malicious look in her eyes. "So, Fur, you want to play the SmackDown game again?" "Now?" Coconut smirked. "You scared?" "Nah, it's cool with me. But after this, we got to talk in private, okay?" She said softly. "I don't want to fight with you anymore. I miss my friend." She reached for her hand and Coconut pulled it back and wiped it on her jeans as if it were dirty. "Sure, whatever you want," she shrugged. "Anyway, you're not playing with me." Shannon stood up. "You're playing with her." Fur knew playing with Shannon would end up in a fight, but this was a great opportunity to seek revenge for last night. But remembering Knox, Amico, and the fact that Nadia wants her blood, she felt it would be best to pass. "Nah, if I hit this girl, it won't end nice." Fur walked away when Mia blocked her path. "Bitch, if you don't go back over there and lay that hole on her back, I'ma fuck you up myself." Fur looked into her sister's eyes and saw she was deathly serious. Turning back around, she stepped up to Shannon and smacked the dog shit out of her like it was nothing. She hit the floor so hard the heel of her cheap boot broke and hung to the right. I told you I didn't want to play. Fur pointed down at Shannon before looking at Coconut. This is your fault, not mine. So you can put this on YouTube if you want to. I don't give a fuck. Damn, Shannon, I ain't know you bought cheap shoes, one of the girls said. Shannon was enraged and took her anger out on Fur. Bitch, that's why I got something you want, and his name is Slade Baker. She continued ranting from the floor like a mad woman. He chose wisely because you could never be better than me. She was so mad spit was popping out of her mouth like a sprinkler. Plus, you're too fucking weird. She looked at everybody. Watch out for her. She claiming to be a vampire. Mia marched towards Shannon, preparing to knock her out when Fur stopped her and said, I got it, Mia. Then she looked down at Shannon. What you say to me? Shannon stood up and tried to balance herself on uneven shoes, although her heels had given out. You heard me. Fur was about to hit her again when Shannon reached into her jacket and pulled out a bottle of perfume to spray her in the face. Fur immediately felt burning sensation throughout her skin, and it felt like she was on fire. Her eyes was inflamed and her face itched so bad she was about to cry. Enraged, she started swinging wildly in Shannon's direction, but she hit Rhonda instead. Rhonda was punched so hard that she fell to the floor and her head flung back and hit the edge of the living room table. Fur couldn't see what she done or who she hit, but she heard everybody's reaction. Before she could ask any questions, Mia rushed her and led her towards the front door. I'ma handle this, Fur. What happened? She yelled, trying to see. What did I do? Fur could hear the angry voices geared towards her. Just as she expected, the day didn't end well and she was sure it would get worse. You need to get out of here, Mia continued. That's the only thing you need to be worried about right now. What about my coat? It's in my room. You want your coat or do you want to go to jail? Mia opened the door and pushed her out without responding before slamming it shut. Chapter 66. Slade. I ain't one of them niggas you can talk to any kind of way. Slade was about to pull off to handle some business when he saw Fur stumble out the building without a coat. As she repeatedly rubbed her eyes, he hopped out of his truck, took his jacket off, and wrapped it around her body. At first, she fought with him, not knowing who he was. But when she heard his voice, she relaxed and gave in. It's me, Fur. It's Slade. No longer fighting, she allowed him to usher her inside the truck. What the fuck happened to you? He asked, looking at her red face. I need to wash my eyes out, she cried, rubbing her face. I can barely see. You got some water or something in here? Slade reached back and grabbed from the holder the cup that Major was drinking out of yesterday. He walked around to her side of the truck and opened her door before carefully helping her out. Okay, I'm going to throw this water in your face, okay? Yes, do it, please. She kept moving in place. Please, my eyes are killing me. Slade took the lid off and threw the water in her face. A few ice cubes bounced off the edge of her nose and crashed to the ground. Ow, she yelled. What the fuck was that? Oh, shit, he laughed. I didn't know ice was still in the cup. My truck must have been cold as shit all night. He helped her back inside and pulled off. You okay over there? Although her face was still inflamed, Fur slowly began to open her eyes. I'm okay. She started laughing hysterically. Even though you threw a block of ice in my face. She was grateful she didn't suffer an outbreak. He grabbed a napkin from his console and handed it to her. Sorry, babe. Use it to dry off. She patted the water off her face. I don't know what happened, but you smell good. He smelled the fragrance that Shannon sprayed on her. Don't get used to it. I'm not a perfume type of girl. Slade drove down the street and said, what happened? She rubbed her eyes a few more times and said, your girlfriend sprayed perfume in my face. That's what happened, Slade. I wish you told me you fucked with her like that. I would never waste my time. He felt Shannon's move was ugly and had plans to check her later. What girl? Slade, cut the shit. I'm talking about the bitch I saw you with at the club last night. She came to my friend's shower and sprayed some shit in my face because she knows I'm allergic to it. Slade remembered Shannon talking about the disease, so he decided to ask her about it. What is it, porphyria? Ferb felt her head spinning and she wondered how he knew. She opened her eyes and although her vision was blurry, she could see him better. It's an illness that I was born with. It's a blood disorder. He decided to spare her the vampire details because of everything she was going through. Skipping the subject, she said, I can't believe you would even associate yourself with that bitch. She ain't nothing but a whore. Slade felt bad about Ferb seeing him in the club, and he was fucked up all night about it. He felt so guilty that he dropped Shannon off even though they had plans to get a run. At the same time, had Ferb never disrespected him, he would never seen her again. I'm sorry about what you saw in the club, but I didn't know you were there. But you were wrong for disrespecting me, Ferb. And I told you I meant what I said. I ain't one of them niggas you could talk to any kind of way. And until you apologize to me, and you could never beat it, man, until you apologize, me and you could never be like that. Ferb was silent. I'm sorry, she looked at him. I just got mad that you weren't willing to stay with me once you found Knox. I guess I took shit the wrong way, Slade. I don't want you to be with her. You belong with me. How did you know my brother's name? She made a great mistake that she was just realizing. You told me. No, I didn't. I would never have said his name. We got too much shit going on. Well, you did. How else would I know? She looked at him and blinked a few times before the perfume was drying her eyes out. I saw on the news that dude you were with last night was murdered. What happened? She was grateful they were past the Knox situation. I think Randy tried to kill me, and he got him instead. She adjusted her seat so she could sit back more. I know he's not going to stop until he kills me, though. Slade didn't like that. She was going through so many struggles. But if she act right, he had intentions of giving her a serious role in his life. Where we going? I gotta see this lady about my brother Knox. Her name is Eleanor. You know her? Okay, y'all. Ooh, that was long. I'll be back with chapter 67. I don't know where I'm going to stop it, but then the last two, Thursday will be the last of this book. And I'll tell y'all more details on Thursday when I finish where y'all get part 2 and part 3.